Have you ever felt like you don't belong in most conversations? Like your mind is wired to go deeper while everyone else seems satisfied with the surface? It's not arrogance, and it's not isolation. It's awareness. When your thoughts move faster and connect farther, you start noticing the hidden threads between things. Why someone says what they say. Why silence feels heavier than words. Why certain moments repeat like patterns in your life. Most people live on the surface of things, reacting to whatever floats by. But when you start thinking beyond what's obvious, you begin to see the world differently. You question, you analyze, and sometimes you even feel too much. That's not a flaw. That's the mark of a mind that refuses to sleep. Psychologists say highly intuitive and intelligent people often struggle with social comfort because their minds don't stop mapping reality. You can't switch off observation. You hear what isn't said. You notice what others hide. You sense the truth before it's spoken. And that kind of awareness, while powerful, can also make life exhausting. Because when you see too clearly, pretending becomes impossible. The world values simplicity, but deep thinkers live in shades of complexity. You understand that two people can love each other and still be wrong for each other. That kindness can hide guilt, and that silence can scream louder than noise. You carry paradox like a language only you can speak. That's why solitude feels like home. Not because you hate people, but because it's the only place where your thoughts can stretch without interruption. There's a strange peace in being misunderstood by most, because it frees you from the pressure to explain yourself. You start realizing that understanding is rare, and that's okay. Great minds throughout history have always walked slightly apart from the crowd. Not because they wanted to, but because their perception made ordinary life feel too shallow. When your awareness deepens, entertainment feels empty, gossip feels painful, and small talk becomes unbearable. You long for conversations that light up the mind, ideas, psychology, existence, the unspoken logic behind emotions. But the truth is, only a few people can meet you at that level. The rest mistake your quietness for pride or coldness, not realizing that your silence is your filter. You're not trying to impress, you're trying to preserve energy for what truly matters. And yet, this sensitivity has its curse, because seeing more also means feeling more. The same mind that reads beauty in every detail also reads the suffering behind every smile. You can sense pain that isn't yours, and it can drain you, so you learn to hide your depth behind simplicity. You act casual in shallow places, nod along when people talk about nothing, and smile even when your mind is miles away. You do this not to deceive, but to survive in a world that isn't ready for raw awareness. But make no mistake, that intelligence, that perception, that emotional sharpness, it's your gift. The reason people call you too much is because they haven't seen enough. You are the kind of person who sees the unseen. When you walk into a room, you don't just notice faces, you notice moods. When you listen, you don't just hear words, you hear intentions, you pick up energy, inconsistencies, micro expressions. That's emotional intelligence, not paranoia. Your brain is constantly decoding reality, searching for patterns, understanding motives. That's why you sometimes overthink, not because you're weak, but because your mind refuses to accept illusions. You crave truth, even when it hurts. You'd rather sit alone with honesty than be surrounded by comforting lies. In a world that glorifies distraction, your ability to sit in silence and think deeply is rebellion. Don't apologize for that. Great minds don't fit into ordinary spaces. They create new ones. And yes, sometimes that comes with loneliness. Sometimes you'll feel like nobody sees you for who you really are. But understand this, not being understood is the price of clarity. You see through the masks people wear, the performances they give, the fake smiles, the fear hiding behind confidence. You know that most people talk to be heard, not to connect. And so you choose quiet over noise. That doesn't make you cold, it makes you conscious. The more aware you become, the more peace you start craving. You no longer chase attention, drama, or approval. You start valuing presence over popularity, simplicity over chaos, truth over comfort. That's growth, not detachment. The world doesn't always know how to deal with people who think deeply. It confuses reflection with sadness and quietness with arrogance. But the truth is, deep thinkers are the emotional architects of humanity. They build meaning where others see randomness. They question injustice, challenge belief, and spark evolution in silence. You are one of them. You are not here to blend in. You are here to observe, to understand, to evolve. Protect your solitude, not because it separates you from the world, but because it strengthens your connection to it. Solitude is where ideas are born, where creativity breathes, where awareness grows strong enough to face noise without losing peace. So if you ever feel like you don't fit in, remember, the problem isn't you. The world often fears what it doesn't understand. People misunderstand deep thinkers because they mirror what others try to hide. You remind them of their own unexamined lives. That's why they call you different. But being different is your advantage. It means you see life not just as it is, but as it could be. And that vision is what shapes the future. So don't shrink yourself to fit small rooms. Don't silence your questions to make others comfortable. Keep thinking deeply. Keep feeling fully. Keep searching for truth in a world built on distraction. Because the known sense isn't about knowing everything. It's about sensing what most people overlook. And if this message resonates with you, you already know. You're not alone. You're just ahead.